right, it's time once again, guys. Welcome back. This is the GSTL. I'm Doa. With me is Moltrap, and we are about to see a battle between MVP and Prime. And while the last match we saw was pretty one-sided, in fact, it's about as one-sided as you can imagine. I think we're going to see something a little bit different this time around. Prime, hasn't had a lot of success in the Team League at all. In fact, they've only gotten one win ever. MVP, very, very good team, but hasn't been doing too well in the Team League this season. And I don't know, I think after Prime's win last week, I think they're here to kind of see what they can do.
Yeah, man, and we are going to be starting off with, well, hold that thought. Here's the MVP team coming out. Coach in the middle.
Yep.
I'll give it about nice big team. A team with a lot of depth to it, I would say. There's a lot of players. Some teams have like one good player and a bunch of scrubs. Some teams have like a few good players. This team, MVP, has a lot of players on it which are at least decent,
A lot of disco on that team too, apparently.
Yeah, apparently they
love their disco.
They got a disco theme.
Oh, they're handing out
the whole
hats already?
team handing out stuff. I'm like, hey, I want one. That'd be cool.
CP. That must be one of their sponsors or something. Yep, they were giving out t-shirts. This team loves to give away stuff. I mean, if you want to come and like get memorabilia from the team, come on a day when MVP is playing. They give away tons of stuff.
If you put up a cheerful with MVP on it, cheering for them, they'll basically give you something.
Yeah, very true. He's happy.
Wow,
he got the Manor banner and a hat. You can get rid of the one he's wearing, put on a MVP hat.
It's pretty sweet, man.
Yeah. But MVP's got so many good players right now.
Yeah.
Here they are. Here's some information about them. Key players, of course, this season being Genius, Violet, Noblesse, and the closer, the final boss, as some people call him, MVP Dongregu.
Yeah, man.
He's not in Code A anymore, but he's still a very dominant force in the Team League.
Team League beast.
He certainly is.
Absolute beast. And let's not forget, we have a lot of other players on the MV team as well. I mean, Dream is on their bench. We got Guinea Pig.
Guinea Pig, man. I like Guinea Pig.
Sniper. I mean, Tails is their starter, and he's not even one of their key players.
No, Tails is I'd say one of their lesser players, but they're going to start out with him today. Yep. So
Keen.
Yeah.
I mean, they have such a breadth of good players that can be used for different things. I mean, so with having that many good players, it means you can have snipers for certain situations and send them out depending on, and still be confident that that player can do well in their next match as well if they win. And there we go, wins against OGS and Prime.
Yep.
Slayers, of course.
Good mix of players there. Look at that, the only team that has less Terrans than any other race, too.
Wow.
Interesting fact about MVP. I'm pretty sure that's true.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'll find out if it's not. I'm nearly positive.
Well,
there's the team, of course, Dongregu and Genius in the middle there. And I'm looking for someone specific. Okay, there was a player that was on the team that used to be in the picture, but he's not on the team anymore. He's been taken out.
All right. Good to know. And they've got so many players that have been in, Code A and Code S as well. So they are going to be pumped here. And MVP is going to be sending out Tails, yes, first. Interesting choice.
Bon Jovi. One team likes disco, the other one likes Bon Jovi. Can't go wrong with either one.
Still a pretty big team, although not quite as much depth on the Prime team, I would say.
Yeah. Now, there's some news I think a lot of people will be excited about with who these guys are sending out first. It's the guy in the middle there. They're going to send out Marine King first. It's going to be fun to see him, of course. And now Marine
Team
King,
giving a cheer.
We've been talking about him a little bit throughout the Team League. He hasn't had a lot of success. He hasn't won a lot of games in the Team League. In fact, he's actually lost a lot of games in very important situations in the Team League in the past for Prime. But, they're sending him out first this time. They want to give him a chance. Fan getting the banner there. No hats for them.
So it's going to be Tails versus Marine King. And it's going to be an interesting matchup. Both players very confident in this matchup, actually. Tails 6-4 versus Terran. MVP. I'm sorry, I don't know what I said. MVP. Marine King has a 56% win rate versus Protoss, so they're both about the same as far as statistics go. Of course,
Sure.
statistics aren't everything.
Now, interestingly enough, they have Hongen listed as their closer. And, while he's a pretty good player, he's a bit, he doesn't really get off of 2 bases too often. Usually that's his max for each game. But he is very aggressive. He knows a lot of great, powerful timings early in the game. And I suppose that does make him a good choice for a closer. Marine King is good. I mean, Optimus, of course, winner of the Super Tournament, beat MMA in the finals there.
Yeah,
And there's a breakdown. Pretty even breakdown for those guys.
Yeah. Prime is a team that hasn't had a ton of success in the team league.
No, they've only won once.
And that's not a ton of success. And it's really kind of surprising. I mean, with players like Marine King and Optimus.
It is, yeah.
Some sort of next tier players like Hongen on the team. I mean, any pro can put up some good results sometimes.
It kind of depends it kind of depends in a big way how the team prepares for team league matches as well. Like a lot of players, a team like Prime that has a lot of good individual players probably focuses more on the individual league. I mean, as kind of an example, I was talking to TSL's coach Lee a couple days ago, and he was telling me that right now TSL is preparing 80% of their practice time for team league, 20% for individual league.
Oh.
So there is a big difference in how these teams prepare, how much importance they put on the team league. And you can certainly see the results of that. I mean, TSL way on top in team league. They really do practice for it more. You can do that. Yeah.
Anyway, I guess I'm just a little surprised that, they haven't been carried a little bit more by players like Optimus, who, of course, is a Super Tournament champion.
Yeah. And the question there is, are those good players just good at preparing for their matches that they know will happen in advance, and maybe not so good at doing things on the fly? That's also another strength that you have to have in team league play, too. You need to be ready to play against anybody.
That's the case, man.
It's really foggy in the studio today, isn't it?
They've been going crazy with the smoke machine.
They have. Yep. It's not smoke, don't worry. It's just fog.
Well,
adds to the drama. Yep. Not real fog, no. It's from a machine. It's true.
They actually have the ability to manipulate the weather.
It's pretty impressive.
And there's actually, you can't see it, but right off camera, there's a big open window where they let the fog just
Well, you guys have heard about the GOM
in.
Wizard, right? You see the GOM Wizard every once in a while?
That's right. He's actually a wizard.
Yeah, he's a real wizard.
He's actually a wizard.
It's true, yeah.
Sans robe and wizard hat. Usually.
That's right. You might see him fixing computers, but he's actually really talented at genuine magical things.
Yeah, he actually fixes them magically.
You know, the funny thing is,
it's kind of his cover to poke around with this stuff, but then he really just casts a spell and.
It's talent. It's just pure talent. You know, the funny thing is that the GOM staff here actually calls him the GOM Wizard now.
Oh, really?
Everyone calls him the GOM Wizard. Yep. It's his name now.
It caught on.
Can't shake it. So we're going to move into the game pretty soon. Our first map is going to be Xel'Naga Fortress. All right.
Xel'Naga Fortress.
Yeah.
And another Jackie Prime map.
Yep, that's right. The only map that has a tower that actually self-destructs in the middle of the map.
That's right.
7 minutes in. So that's kind of an interesting feature on it.
They changed. They decided that it was too valuable. The tower was too valuable in the later game for any player to have.
It was too strong in PvP.
Because it's a relatively small map, and you have a really good control of the entire center of the map if you have that tower. So later on in the game, it just became a little bit too powerful. So they programmed it to self-destruct after, I believe, 7 minutes.
Yep, if you go back in time and watch some of those early TVTs on that map, you just see these gigantic tank lines across the middle of the map by the tower, and no one could break it. So yeah, it was kind of making TVT a little bit, So they took it out. I think it really makes it very interesting on that map now.
I think it'd be funny if someone built a sensor tower right on the spot where
some people do. Some people do that.
Oh, right on the exact spot in the middle there?
Yeah, I've seen some players actually do that. Yeah, a couple of them here and there.
Then I don't think it would be funny. I think it is funny.
You've got good ideas. Yeah. Because sensor towers can even see a little bit farther than the Xel'Naga towers can. Of course, they have a larger range. Yep.
We've got Slog in the house now. He just came out to watch this match.
Yeah, there he is. Yep. Slog actually comes out to the studio quite a bit. It's fun. I mean, if you guys are in Seoul, or even if you're anywhere else on Earth, definitely come down to the Mokdong studio here in Seoul, Korea. It's not so far away. Yeah, just
if you are anywhere on Earth, come on down here to the studio.
Yep.
You could meet people like us. You can meet Slog. You meet Tastosis. You could actually meet. I actually just ran into
Meet a lot of players.
on the break. I ran into, if you guys or anyone's familiar with Brood War, Oversky.
Oh yeah,
He was actually one of my favorite Brood War players. And after getting out of the Air Force, he actually became a commentator here.
Yeah.
So he is here. Also, Dejong, another Brood War pro, is a commentator here. He's here sometimes. And of course, a lot of Brood War pros are now StarCraft 2 pros.
Yeah, more and more
StarCraft
every
2
day.
pros earning fame in their own right as well. So you come down here, it's pretty cool. Especially like your first time seeing like Boxer, you're like, that's Boxer, he's real.
Yes.
There's people like that all the time, and the cool thing is no one really takes themselves that seriously here either.
Oh no, they're all real cool, yeah.
So if you know a few words Korean, you go up and talk to your favorite player and just say hi.
You know, I said earlier, if you're anywhere on Earth, you can come to the studio. I'll extend that to the universe.
Yeah, man.
Because there was those UFO sightings over Seoul, Korea,
That's
apparently,
true.
like in the last couple days. I didn't see any myself, but I don't know. When I asked John about it,
You weren't supposed to
he got
tell
really
anyone that the
bashful and he
aliens
wouldn't
were here
talk.
to watch GSL.
I think
It was
John
a
knows
secret.
something. He's not telling us.
John
You see how he
actually
started
is an
laughing?
alien.
He was like, oh, I don't know. He's got some connections there. Who knows? But there's our first player for MVP. It is Tails. He's had not a lot of success within the GSL quite yet. 2 wins, 3 losses. He's been in Code A a couple times. Got knocked out in the round of 32 this time around, so he's going to need to requalify. But, you know, he's still a strong Protoss player. They're going to start out, give him an opportunity to get some wins here in the GSL Team League. And, you know, sometimes we can be surprised, too. We've seen some players come in that we didn't really see winning, and they ended up winning.
Yeah, and Tails actually got knocked out by Tasia this season. It was Tasia's first win on his way to the semifinals.
That's right.
Of course, the semifinals will be taking place next Monday. And yeah, man, I mean, he hasn't gotten that far. He's played a little bit in the Zotac Team League months ago, but we haven't seen very much out of him since then until he popped up in Code A last season.
Interestingly enough, he actually did beat Marine King in a match in one of the Zotac Team Invitationals
There
a
you
while
go.
back. And there is Marine King.
Career Tails is 1-0 against Marine King.
There you go, yeah. I'm sure these guys have met on the ladder once in a while too, but Marine King, I feel like he's got a lot to prove in the Team League. I mean, look at that. He's 0-3 in Team League play. This guy is so good, but somehow just cannot win in Team League. I think now's his time. I'm sure he asked to be sent out first. He wants to prove himself.
And of course, you know, we were talking during his Code A matches about how he's been kind of scraping by in the Team League. He's obviously in the semifinals, but he's come very close to losing to both Yu-Gi-Oh! And Jockji. And, you know, that's after a really bad series of games that put him down into Code A and the up and down matches.
Now, Marine King will be playing Leenock, FXO Leenock on Monday in the Code A semifinal, so don't miss that. That'll be a pretty awesome match, I'm sure. Have to see how he can do today. A little bit of a preview, maybe, if he ends up doing a TVZ. I suppose he could if he makes it all the way to the 4th game. They send out Dongray Gu. That'd be a pretty cool game.
That'd be sweet.
A lot of great possibilities here at the Team League. I love the Team League, Moltrap. This is so much fun.
I like how it's a given, though, that Dongray Gu is always going to be their closer.
He usually is, yeah.
And anyway, so the first map, like we mentioned, is going to be Xel'Naga Fortress. We're going to be getting started on that map here very soon.
Yeah.
Marine King has gotten silver medals in the GSL before. Tails has gotten Code A, but right now they're on a level playing field. Either player could win and take a 1-0 start for their team. Who's going to win it? We're going to find out here very soon. Both players looking confident. Let's get into the game.
All right, here we go, guys. MVP versus Prime. Here's our MVP player at the top of the map. He is a Protoss, obviously. Spawning in the yellow, he is.
MVP Tails.
You can tell because of the Nexus.
Tails. I believe he did actually name himself after the Sonic the Hedgehog character.
Really?
Yep, I think he did.
Huh.
Pretty sure. Down at the bottom of the map, we have a player that needs no introduction, but we're going to give him one anyway.
Marine King Prime Win.
Formerly known as Boxer. Fans called him Foxer. On the ladder, he's actually Ellen Page a lot of times.
By the way, those of you that don't know, when they say Prime Wii, the Wii is for World Elite, which is a Chinese clan that is partnered with Prime. So the Chinese players, they go by, ABC World Elite.Prime. So kind of the same thing reversed to represent that they're partnered like that.
Now, rumor has it that China has a pretty big StarCraft 2 scene right now, too, so I'm kind of curious to see, if and when we'll ever see some of those players kind of emerge into the Korean scene and the Western scene or anything like that. With this partnership, I think Prime.we has kind of the best chance of showing us some of those good Chinese players.
Yeah, they have a few good players in China that I know of, at least. I could be completely ignorant of a broad base of talent, but as far as I know, there's only a few that are kind of on the level of GSL competitors, but there are a few that I think that could compete on this level if they chose to.
That'd be cool.
Maybe we'll see in the World Cyber Games.
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe we'll see some of that competition. Marine King going for 1 gas after his barracks, and he's going to use that little bit of gas that he's gotten for a tech lab.
Okay. He's going to be doing probably a 1-Rax expand then if he's getting his tech lab first. Sometimes you see players do that little early pressure with like the 1 SCV, the 1 Marine, the 2 Marauders with slow. Can do some damage if your opponent isn't quite ready for it, doesn't react very well. But
there we go.
Yeah, there is some Marauder.
Marauder coming out first.
Yep. Gonna be
this map has so many little ridges that we do see a lot of Reaper play on this map. He's opting for the Marauder first.
Yep, Marauder expand.
And is that Probe gonna get in?
Oh, he is.
Oh gosh, Probe gets in. Sees the tech lab, sees the gas, even plants down the command center right in front of that probe just to mock it.
Now this gives Tails an opportunity to do what actually is quite good against a Marauder expand, which would of course be Void Ray pressure.
Yeah, exactly.
It's one thing that makes it really tough. Fast Void Rays, you don't end up having a lot of Marines. Put down 2 more gateways right away. Either way, he knows that he's not going to be able to do something like a 1-gate expand. That'd be way too dangerous.
Yeah, very important scouting information there.
Oh, cool. So he is going to do that little push. Adding on a Reaper as well. I like that touch with it. And this can potentially do some damage. If you're lucky, you can get in there, kill their initial couple units, and get them to pull SCVs.
Yeah, and the Reaper is rallied to the back
pull
of
probes,
Tails' base.
Yeah.
So he's probably going to pressure the front, try and draw the units forward, and then go in the back with the Reaper while he's doing that. Yeah,
the other nice thing with doing this Marauder expand like this is that you get stim really, really fast too. You can do a follow-up push in the near future. So here we go. Looks like Tails has plenty to defend this though. Yep.
Yeah, he's got a sentry there, and he did successfully draw the troops forward, but he moved his Marines and Marauders back, which means that the Stalker is free to deal with the Reaper, but the Reaper is going to get into the side.
Yeah, that'll be good. He'll be able to see those gateways. Maybe kill a probe or 2. He does get 1 kill before running away. Oh, and is the Stalker going to get him? He does.
Oh, wow. He actually ran, instead of running straight over to the side, he ran down a little bit and let himself stay within range of that Stalker.
Yep, not a huge loss. He did get to see what he wanted to see at least. So that's good. Here comes the 3-gate pressure now from Tails. Good follow-up to doing that. Sometimes, just like with the early pressure we saw Marine King try to put on, conversely, Protoss can put some pressure on and maybe catch the Terran a little bit unawares, but Marine King's going to be ready. He's going to have those 2 bunkers ready just in time.
Yeah, just barely in time.
Yep.
5 sentries there, along with the Stalker Zealot. Very similar to actually what Naniwa kind of tried to do to pressure in this game against Asia.
Yep, and once he sees that the bunkers there, he's probably going to pull back. He could maybe decide to add on some more gateways, add on some sentries, and try to force field off the bunkers and do some damage that way. But in fact, it looks like he might want to.
Yeah, well, it depends on how much defense Marine King has. Marine King has those 2 bunkers and some more units behind it. It actually has 4 Marauders behind those, so we're going to see it's going to come down the micro.
Yep, here comes Tails right now, force fielding the bunkers off, taking down 1 bunker. Marine King not really responding to this at all.
Wow.
Interesting.
And he just sacks those Zealots to take out the bunkers, but is he going to turn around and try and kill the units as well? I think there might be too much there, but more Zealots are coming in.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, losing some units.
Nice. catches those units, but he's out of force fields now, so he's not going to be able to put any more pressure on in the same fashion.
Yep, it's going to give us slightly to Tails, but the big thing that it's going to do, the big improvement is that it's going to let Tails get that advantage in terms of economy. Marine King needs to pull back and wait a little bit.
I said he was out of force fields. He just warped in 3 more force fields.
That's good. They're not sentries anymore, they're force fields.
Well, he warped in 3 sentries, each with the ability to do 1 more force field, so he could have positioning there. And he's going to try and prod the ramp a little bit, but there's just too much bio there.
Yeah, now Marine King's got enough that Tails can't move up the ramp and attack, but it's very, very difficult to break this type of contain in this situation. It's going to keep Marine King on 1 base for a long time, which is really good for Tails. It's exactly what he wants.
Well, unless Tails does just abandon the contain.
Oh, yeah, I suppose he could do that too.
That works as well. But again, very, very similar situation to what we had with Naniwa's game versus Teja. Tails is now ahead. He's mining at his expansion, whilst Marine King is not mining at his expansion. Marine King has to play a little bit passively and defensively for a moment.
Now the thing is, too, is Tails knows that he's kind of getting towards the point in TVP where you need to start worrying about meta backdrops, too. So
yeah,
that's
true.
A big reason of why he wanted to pull that back. Marine King, just because of how he opened, is getting those medevacs a little bit later than you could sometimes. Decided to opt for the Ghost Academy a little bit quicker.
And Tails is going for that charge with armor upgrades.
We've seen that quite a bit today, haven't we?
Yes, indeed.
It's a good way to go.
Very, very standard Protoss play these days versus Terrans. Don't see people going Colossus early very much at all, even though that used to be pretty much the staple of PvT.
Well, TVP is in kind of an interesting spot right now. I mean, there's not a lot of. I've said this a couple times to some people. I was talking about this to other couple people. There's not a lot of options for either player. I mean, Bio, you can do that. Marine Tank all-ins. We see Marine King moving out across the map. You can go, Bio with fast medevacs and upgrades. You can go Bio with fast ghosts and less upgrades.
And this is hold that thought actually because Marine King's going in and he might hit a timing right before armor and charge finish. If he goes right now, he's going in with the ghosts, the EMPs, gets all the sentries, only a few force fields available. He stims and goes in. I don't know if it's quite going to be enough with those zealots there, though.
Well, nice EMPs for Marine King. Obviously has enough bio that he can handle the zealots there. And Marine King looking really good this match. Engaged that just perfectly, waited for the units to clump up before EMPing, and suddenly Tails is in a bit of trouble. Now these units are getting a little bit low on health, but at the very least, Marine King's going to be able to do a good amount of damage.
Yeah, Marine King has done his damage, and those medevacs, the heroes of the day, keeping everything alive. Mules dropping down. Marine King dropping down mules to say, get out of the game. Tails' front has been breached, trying to morph an Archon desperately, but it's just a little bit too late. And Marine King coming in with a perfect timing attack right before armor, right before charge, and perfect EMPs to finish off the combo.
Yeah, looks like he's pretty much won this game. I mean, it's not like you do. GG, there it is. And look at that, Marine King Prime getting a first win for Team Prime here in the Team League.
Wow.
Just very, very solid standard play from Marine King. Like you said, he hit that timing just perfectly. Tails just couldn't handle it.
That was obviously something very practiced. I mean, the 3-gate expand build for Protoss is a very normal thing, so he probably had that planned. Oh, okay, I know what you're doing. I'm going to hit the timing right before you get your upgrades. And it was very, very close.
Yeah.
But he did hit it right at the perfect moment. And also, I noticed Tails, he kind of panicked a little bit. Right before the attack hit, he fell back away from the ghosts, but that clumped up his units, like you pointed out.
Exactly.
So the EMPs were harder.
That's how you have to engage in TVP. Yeah, you can't EMP just immediately unless you get lucky and their units are already clumped. You have to do exactly what Marine King did. You see the units spread out, just poke in, they react. The way that the units move in StarCraft 2, they naturally clump together.
Yeah.
That's when you EMP. And Tails has got to be. You kind of saw him after the game. He was like, "Oh man, he knows that he didn't quite engage that correctly, and that was enough to give Marine King the win."
Yeah. Beautifully played by Marine King. An excellent little timing there, and especially after holding off the pressure of Tails as well, very effectively. Despite some really good force fields. Taking those bunkers down, Marine King was like, all right, well, I can't hold this expansion. I'm going to have to fall back a little bit, be safe, wait for my timing, and then just go. So it was nicely done.
Well, I kind of wonder how that game would have been different if Tails would have kept that contain up for a little bit longer on Marine King. I'm kind of wondering how long he could have sort of kept that going. Obviously, you do need to worry about the medevac drops if you're doing that, but, you know, you can produce some units at home. Who knows? On to the next game. Who is MVP going to send out?
Let's find out who they're going to send out to face Marine King.
They've got a lot of good options. I'd love to see Keen.
And they're doing some fake out. Is it going to be Dongregu early?
The final boss is suddenly the second boss today. I don't think Prime was expecting that.
No, man. Will it be the final boss? Will he be able to take everyone out?
Know.
I don't. That'd be a tall order.
It's usually not the level 2 boss. I mean, that's like the boss where you learn the one little trick and then you don't take a hit for the entire fight.
That's right.
Yep. MVP Dongregu just got knocked out of Code A. Still going to be in it next season, but he's out this time. There's the Gom Wizard.
Oh, goodness.
The Gom Wizard working his magic.
He's wearing the Gom equivalent of a robe.
That's right.
What is Marine King doing?
He's trying to keep his hands warm,
keeping his arms warm.
I was going to take off his shirt for a second there. It was like, Marine King.
It's actually pretty cool inside the studio. In fact, it's a relief. It's really warm and humid out there, and you come on in here, and it's nice and cool.
Yeah, the booths are actually kept quite cool.
Yeah, I want to make sure the equipment doesn't overheat.
Yep.
And look at that record.
Pretty good.
Josephat.
He has not lost in the Team League yet this season. Of course, he did lose last season to MMA in the final game.
Yeah.
But other than that...
But that was his only loss in that Team League.
Yeah.
Such a strong player. So good in Team League.
Does a lot of cool, unique things, too. I mean, that's why he's a fan favorite, is because he doesn't play typical Zerg, you know? He has a lot of little unique flair things he does to his play. That's what makes a fan favorite player. So we've got 2 fan favorites going head-to-head here at the GSTL.
That is true. Both of these players very popular.
Yep, Dongregu versus Marine King. This is actually a matchup that I've been wanting to see for a long time. Marine King at the top of his game could do quite well against Dongregu, and Dongregu at the top of his game could make it very difficult for Marine King to win. Pretty excited, man.
Yeah, and this makes a lot of sense, this choice as well, because Dongregu, very, very strong versus Terran especially. Not quite as strong versus Protoss, and we saw him lose, I believe, if I remember correctly, to a Protoss in Code A, as a matter of fact.
Well, the best players are coming out early this time.
So Daybreak is going to be the map. We're going to see a new map. One of the new maps, rather.
This is great. Oh, I'm getting so excited, Moltrap. Nope, Moltrap. Dongregu versus Marine King.
This is actually going to be Daybreak. A sick match.
Yeah, it's a nice big map, so hopefully we'll get to see a longer game.
This is something I would have expected to be like the semifinals of Code A, man. If Dongregu hadn't gotten knocked out. Both these players so strong. We're going to find out here in just a minute on Daybreak if Marine King can bring his team to a 2-0 lead, or if Dongregu can bring his team back into a tie. Perhaps close things out. He is their closer. He's out here first. Let's find out.